Hey guys, how are you? Thank you. Welcome back to the channel, and it's a huge thank you to the 90 subscribers I've got. So it's climbing, guys. It's slow, but it is climbing. All right, and I think that's very, very reflective of what's going on energy-wise in the sky as well. All right, so you know, um, we don't live in a microcosm, guys, do we? You know, it's massive. It's about macro. So yeah, it's all happening. I wanted to talk about this full a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. It is on the 26th, and again, I do apologise if I'd said it was on the 24th to somebody. It is actually on the 26th, my eyesight. um, so, apologies for that. But Sagittarius and Gemini, okay, now we have the nodal axes of the moon in both Gemini and Sagittarius, so this is really important as well when we're dealing with the eclipse in Sag. Sagittarius, as I said, it's about personal truth, it's about personal freedoms, it's about diversity, it's about travel, it's about movement, um, it's about natural law, um, and health and getting out there into nature. It's all of those things, Sagittarius, but it's also on a slightly higher level, it's about wisdom. All right, Sagittarius, it's about being wise in your choices, guys. Gemini, all right, and I wanted to talk about it because both Jupiter and Mercury are what we call a planetary pair. So you have Mars, you've got Venus, you know, that whole thing. But this is about the minds. And every time I think about Gemini and Sag, and I was born with these polarities anyway, and a Sag moon, my North Node balsamic to that moon, which again, I'm on with something, for, I've got to finish something. So here I am, I'm talking to you, I'm doing it, I'm living it. And I feel that I'm fortunate because I can actually say that. But for many, you can't say that. You're not living it. You're not living your truth. You're not walking with who you really are. You're not being real. All right. And a lot of that, I think, with Sagittarian energy can be down to um, religion, or even if we're not conscious in this life of any religion, even if we are free from ritualistic, religion, practice, so on and so forth, if we are free from that, then for me, that talks about, following your own truth, and believing uh, in your intuition, that inner tutor that I speak about, all right? And we need to be a little bit careful, I think, because Jupiter, I'm just checking the chart here, of course, has nipped into Pisces. Now, Jupiter, of course, rules Sagittarius, and Jupiter in Pisces, along with Saturn in Aquarius now retrograde, is in the fifth house of fun, guys. Right, so it's getting out there, having fun, shining brightly, performing, all of those things, right? That's sun energy, that's fifth house energy. It's children, right? It's enjoying all that whole family, that whole thing. And of course we've got Pluto, right, in Capricorn still, right, in that fourth house. Now it's retrograde, all right? Now fourth house energy is the family, it's about emotional securities. I've spoken to you about this before. It's moon energy, and what's interesting is that today, 26th of May, on the morning of this eclipse, right, we have Jupiter square both the sun and the moon. Now the moon energy is that egocentric image, if you like, structure, how we structure the image. This is moon energy, all right? And again, depending on your moon sign, so on and so forth. But that is moon energy, right? Now, we're not always happy with what we've structured as far as the way we look or all the rest of it, or you know what it is that we're creating with our thought, with our action. We're not always happy with that, and I feel that with any eclipse it talks about sweeping away that old way, but it is square. Both the sun and moon is Sagittarius, or Jupiter is square both the sun and moon. And so we need to remember that with Jupiter in Pisces now. Pisces doesn't have any boundaries. Pisces is about the immune system. Jupiter is about expansion, it's about amplification. It is in the fifth house, so yeah, we want to get out. When we do what we want, we're going to get out into nature, and absolutely you should. But as far as big crowds of people, all right, the collective energy of Jupiter, you know, getting out there, getting back in the pub, getting your hair done, ladies, gents, whatever. But all of that, we still need to be very mindful because, of course, as I said, Pisces has no borders, and Neptune is actually in Pisces, not aspected today, but is in Pisces in the sixth house of health, right? Naturally the Virgo house. But it's the sixth house of health and also work, right? So we know that Neptune can dissolve, all right? And because I feel that Neptune at the end of the day can, you know, help us transcend certain situations, okay? It is important though that we are mindful, Neptune, mindful that at the end of it, you know, Jupiter does expand and amplify. And I have some concerns, nothing too heavy, but I have some concerns with regards to viral problem, right? I have some concerns around that. But I also feel that Jupiter energy is about teaching, it's about teaching, it's about the higher sciences, it's about the tutor. As I said, it's about wisdom, becoming wise. So if you've been thinking about doing that course, or if you've been thinking about dissolving part of the business, Neptune being in the sixth, you know, have you thought about, you know, what is good for your health around the work? What is it that ultimately we can dissolve and become more natural with, right? And feel more at home, more authentic, right? With all the Aquarian energy still going on. So, you know, it is important that we use the power of this eclipse, right, to continue, right, on our journey, right? And again, I'm not talking about foreign journeys flying, right, although that's great, and yeah, I can see that opening up now. We're expanding on that, that's becoming more available, all right? So freedom, getting on an aeroplane, travelling to different countries, going on an adventure, fantastic. You know, that also is Jupiter energy, so that's absolutely brilliant. Great education, I get it all, but it is very important that we remember, if we can, that you know, Neptune doesn't have boundaries, so okay, it can be a bit difficult. What's also very interesting as well is, and I've really rare, I don't use asteroids very often. I use them for me if I'm just checking stuff out for myself, but I don't use them a lot. And but there is Pallas in there now. Pallas in Pisces, you know, I see that as a strategy. She is absolutely conjunct at 22 degrees with Neptune today in that sixth house. So again, strategies, right, making good strategies, but because we've got this newfound freedom and we want to get out there and get back into it all, and it's great, you know, fifth house energy, the performer, Leo energy, I want to shine, you know, I want to get out there and yay, do my thing. The house of fun, right, is Leo, and you know, Jupiter energy is about humour, it's about having a laugh, it's about all of those things as well. But it is really important that we remain mindful that this eclipse is not going to make the virus disappear by the 27th, right? It's not, right? And I'm already seeing or hearing, which is something that I really need to talk to you about as well with these with this energy, I'm already hearing that the governments are already making plans for revised vaccine because it's not going to ultimately, they don't feel it's going to protect us. And bearing in mind this is Saturn energy, it's about protection, it's about security on that level, all right, social protections, okay, um, you know, within our realities, if you like. So the governmental bodies, I see they're extending and expanding the vaccine areas where it's not going to cover the that transmuting of the virus, right? Which we knew it was never going to do that, you know. So it's making these new strains all the time, right? So it is still important that we acknowledge a degree of limitation, guys. And I worry as I'm seeing retrograde Saturn in Aquarius that although on one level they're releasing the shackles and chains from us, well, Jupiter is doing that, obviously, it's allowing us some more freedom. However, okay, the energy of Saturn in Aquarius retrograde could suggest, right, that our health and vitality, right, which is where both Jupiter and Saturn are placed at the moment, where our health and vitality can be compromised again, and we may have to go back into a degree of isolation. Now, I'm not saying that this is so, I'm not being prophetic here in any way, I'm just saying that this is what I'm feeling today, and I was born with a Sag moon, so Sagittarian energy for me, learning to embrace what is natural within myself. It took me a long time to actually accept that I could do the job that I do, and I've done it now for many, many years, as you know, decades, but we always doubt ourselves, all right? I mean, so that my Sag moon is in the 6th, but I do want to talk about, again, that 6th house of work and health, guys, because you know, when Jupiter is square Sun and Moon, which it is on this eclipse, it can get very foggy, all right? It can get very, very foggy because, as I said, Gemini energy or Mercury energy and Jupiter energy, these are a planetary pair. So we had the transmutational energy of the virus, which is a Scorpio Plutonic energy. We've also got the transformational energies, you know, of Aquarius, but with Gemini and Sagittarius, we're talking about sort of that transmigrational energy from left brain to right brain. So it's like, yeah, left brain formulate, right, the plan, right brain at the end of the day, the lateral, right, okay, I'm going to put this formula, right, or this plan into action, right? And it may well be that you have been thinking about you know, making changes. So this eclipse really can bring massive change. I mean, you know, I'm a firm believer that you know, there's an awful lot of talk about climate change at the minute, and Jupiter's very key to this, because Jupiter at the end of the day is the natural world, okay? And I saw an article on this amazing fish that lives like 30,000 feet under the ocean, and it's perfectly preserved, that's come up from some reason. So I'm thinking, ooh, is there some sort of movement, oceanic shift going on under there? And I always think that, you know, we have to look to the natural world to anticipate, I think, you know, sort of you know, if we get lots and lots of fish, I remember getting millions of sardines that washed up on the shore, and we knew there was going to be a quake, there was going to be an oceanic, you know, shift somewhere. So we have to look to the animals, we have to look to the natural world, and that's just a sort of I just wanted to throw that in and say, let's just see what happens with the climate. You know, the Mayans talk about the shifting poles, and that's exactly what's going on. We can see that. It's cyclic, you know, it's 5,000 years since we had the last ice age. There's certainly, I mean, if you're living in the UK, well, even here, you know, living, you know, at the end of the day, it has been much cooler and things that, you know, that it's taking a longer to warm up. So again, we can see, you know, we've got Antarctica that is melting, we've got massive things that are going on now, which I spoke to you about when I spoke about the energies of Aquarius. So let's just come back now and see where we're going, because Jupiter is in a Pisces, but only very briefly, and then it is going to go back into Aquarius. Okay, so again, Aquarius, on one level, yeah, you know, Aquarian energy, tribal energy, you know, more collective energy, people of like minds, but bearing in mind again, we've got this Uranian energy in Taurus, people fighting now for their values. And I turn on the TV this morning and I hear that Palestine and Israel again, and all we can do is pray that it is maybe at most a 9-day war rather than anything else. But you know, we've got all these energies working, you know, and Mars, the god of war, in Cancer, protecting its own, right? And I said to you with the last month's readings, you know, Mars in Cancer is not the comfiest place because we get very self-protective. It is all about self-preservation. But in this instance, I think this moon energy, the eclipse energy, it's sort of, it's actually saying, right, okay, all right, it is about self-preservation. I do need to end something. I do need to make massive change. I do need to follow my own truth, be real, be who I am, right, and dissolve with the energy of Pisces, right, any limitation, right? So what is my truth? What is that? You know, so yeah, sort of dissolving that and drawing a line underneath it. And this eclipse is going to help us do it. So whatever we've been working on, and we will continue to work through this year. So it's not going to happen a week on Wednesday, guys. All right, but it certainly is there. Just want to go back to the chart again as well, because I wanted to talk about, of course, Mercury is in Gemini still, and we also have Venus in Gemini. Now actually that's another pair as well, so it's like Mercury and Venus, you know, so that's actually quite interesting. Both of them in Gemini. So again, feelings, right? Do I feel, right, yeah, I've got this thought in my head, do I feel that I can be myself, that I can truly follow that through? Do I feel safe, right? Do I feel secure going out into this sort of newfound freedom, right? You know, and again, work, health, at work, guys, there's going to be expansion around that for many of you. Of course there are, because now things are beginning to open again. There is that expansion, there's amplification, that is allowing others, right, to come into play, you know, more collectively. So, but it is important that we do understand, especially with this square to the moon, with Jupiter and the Sun, yeah, we want to have fun with the Sun, you know, we want to get out, we want to party, we want to do all of that, but moon energy, it is egocentric energy with love, and at the end of the day, we live in a sociocentric situation, so we're going out into a social scenario, and it's still really important, even though we may know that we're absolutely safe and the body's clean and we're good and there's no virus. At the end of the day, you know, when we're going out there and we're making that group again, Aquarius, I just worry a little bit that we might forget, because it does get foggy with that Jupiter square both Sun and Moon. We want to have fun, right? And it gets so foggy because Jupiter is in Pisces. So please be careful, right? You know, enjoy it. Get on your aeroplanes, do your travelling, do whatever you want to do. Do it quickly. Okay, that's where I'm going. Do it quickly, because we may have, as these retrogrades come back into play again, right, and don't forget Mercury is going to go retrograde the end of May. So let's hope that the information, Mercury, and what we're hearing and what we're reading, the written word, that we're being given, the information, highway, Mercury, that what we're given there, it works for us, okay? But we have to be intuitive as well. And I see sort of Gemini and Sagittarius energy in some respects as a truth or lies energy. Now, maybe I should have used the word belief, right, with Jupiter, but it's like, what do we believe? Do we believe, Saturn's rendition of what's going on, right? Do we believe, what we're being told, mainstream media, social media, do we believe it, right? And these are questions that, you've got to ask your intuition, you've got to trust it, Neptune, and say, right, okay, yeah, I'm on with that, but I'm not on with that. And if you have to do that when you're in a social situation where you might have to upset the apple cart a bit and say what you need to say to your mates, in other words, yeah, well, I was going to do it, but actually I'm not. All right, that's absolutely fine. We've still got Mars in that Cancer energy of self-preservation and, our kids and everything else, family. So absolutely fine with that. But when it comes to following your, that true path, or getting back on track, I think that, again, this eclipse is just another opportunity, and that is an amazingly good word for Jupiter. Jupiter is about opportunity, right? It does bring gifts, and Jupiter's bringing you the gift of freedom. It's bringing you the gift of being able to expand. It's bringing you the gift of, he's king of the gods, right? And we need to recognise that as well, right? That which we often don't, because Jupiter is a ninth house energy before that 10th house of Saturn and government and control and conditioning and everything else. So trust the gut, right? Get out there, get into the natural world, take your shoes off, walk on the grass, connect, right? That's always a good way to get grounded. Everybody talks about that. But again, it's about following your own truth. If you have to dissolve something, if it's a contract, if it's a relationship, if whatever needs to be dealt with, right? This energy is, again, it's an ongoing thing. It is cyclic, almost like, like our climatic changes. It's cyclic. Everything's cyclic, guys. So observe natural law, right? Listen to natural law, right? Because that's what it's about. That's Jupiter. And it's asking you to finish, end, sort out, be wise in your choices, and ultimately that is Jupiter's gift to you. Alright, so work it out, but again, healthy choices, guys. Be wise, just get it right, trust your gut. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye now.